Welcome to KNTV Hotline 21. I am Cynthia Williams, founder and executive director of Sisters in the Spirit. And what this program is about, and what this organization is about, empowering women of color, black women. I'm looking out into the world as a black woman, live it and understand that we are not really lifted up in the community where we are here in the United States of America. We, in our history, sociological history, used to be revered in Africa before Islam and Christianity. Now, I got that information from a book written by an African scholar, John Esmabiti, called African Religion and Philosophy. We can romance about Africa. There are issues in all continents, all around the world, because of the patriarchal issue in the globe is that men want to control each other, and then we get caught up as women. But I say that I was given this assignment to do Sisters in the Spirit, the assignment to help lift up black women, because I don't really see out in the wider society where they're really talking about us. They're talking about all the political things out here, but we're included with black people. But we all ourselves have feelings and thoughts and issues that we have to deal with, such as the death of our family members, our boys, our men, on all different levels, the incarceration of the black male. So we women need to learn how to come together. That's the point of Sisters in the Spirit, to encourage black women into their spirituality, their psychology, thinking and behavior, and sociology, the way of life. We need to learn how to love and respect one another. I'd like to see us do that, and by my example, I hope that we can, because I do respect who I am, and I respect who you are as a woman of color. In fact, I am multicultural. I respect all people. But as I said to you before, my assignment is to build up the community where I am and who I am right now. So ladies, any of you who are calling in, I would love for you to call in if you have any questions, statements, and gentlemen too. See, I've had men come to my meeting last year. I had open meeting and men came, as well as women. So I like any male that's looking. If you got any questions about anything, to call in with a question or statement, and any females to call in any questions and statements. And you don't have to be black. Let me say that to you. As I said, this is my assignment. Let me give you this overhead. I think it's a beautiful overhead that was given to me by a gentleman who supports me in the work that I'm doing. Isn't that beautiful, that image of Nefertiti, Cleopatra? Let's remember that Nefertiti and Cleopatra were not Caucasian. They were of the Egyptian culture in Africa. When you talk about the countries in Africa, if any of you are aware of the geographic map, Africa has a lot of different land masses in it. Now you got Morocco, so you look at the continent, they talk about geographical images of the sun hitting their earth. So you have people that are lighter, that are in the northern part of Africa. And as you go through the continent, you got the equator where people are darker. But let me say this to you, all of you, that we as black people are all over this globe. I was so astonished one day when someone put a book in front of me that showed me the Fiji Islands, and I'm looking at black people. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. That was way back in the 70s. Papua New Guinea, we're talking about black people. We're talking about Aborigines, we're talking about black people. We are all around the globe. But in specific, we have come through so much in the African slavery diaspora here in America. After 300, 400 years of slavery, we have been broken down mentally, emotionally, and somewhat spiritually, because we don't recognize that we are the original aiders of all the people on this planet. And especially you, black woman, you are spiritual. You are beautiful. There was some research that was done. I happened to see it on a channel on TV, regular television, where a Jewish woman was doing some research. And in her research, she found that the mitochondrial DNA, which they used to test whether or not somebody committed a crime, can be found in just about every culture and race on this planet. Now, the one thing she said about it, it was a surprise to her. She wasn't trying to find it, but it exists. So all of you out there recognize that, many of you do recognize we all come from the motherland of Africa. But the mitochondrial DNA comes from the mother, and it is found in just about everybody on the cultural, racial, ethnicity community on this planet. So I want you, black woman, to realize that you are special, that you are important, and that you are beautiful. As I said before, you are the original goddess. Beautiful. I just love that overhead that I have. Isn't it beautiful? And a gentleman helped me with that. So there are gentlemen out here. There are men who are willing to support us in the work that we do. Now, every Sunday at 3 o'clock, I have meetings. Let me let you look at my other overhead that I have here. Sisters in the Spirit. Any questions or comments, you can call the number at the bottom. And any questions or comment about the Sisters in the Spirit or the programming as it's going forth. And I meet every Sunday at 3 o'clock for any of you who would like to participate and be a part as a support system to each other. This is for women. There will be open meetings where men can come. I told you last year I did have men coming to the meeting. And then there are going to be closed meetings. There's nothing wrong with us coming together to talk about that which is special to us. There's nothing wrong with that. We're not trying to overthrow the government or anything like that, but just support each other and give each other strength and encouragement so that we'll be able to deal in this world that we live in on this planet. You have many women that are going through a lot all around the globe. You have the Indian women who are coming together to deal with the issue of rape in their country. And this is some sign of manhood? No, not really, but we as women need to stand up not only for ourselves, but also to recognize that we are valuable. I'm trying to tell you that over and over and over again. You are valuable, you are important, and we must learn to not be haters towards one another, but to respect and love one another. One of the things I will say, I love how the Caucasian women, soul sisters, have a strong sisterhood. And I like to see us build one amongst ourselves as women of color. If you have any questions or statement, the number at the bottom, you can call in for any question or statement that you'd like to present. And I'd like to say to all of you who are out there, that this will be a continual program that will come on every Thursday at 6 p.m. And I will have guests on. I had a beautiful woman on last week, and she deals with youth and a mature woman who cares about youth. A lot of women do in our community, but many of us also are elders in the sense that we're older women, and we would love for some of you other women to come and be a part and learn from us, and let's help each other. This is what I'm saying to you. In the original landmass of Mother Africa, we were revered. I mean, if you know, Roots has been on. The old one, I remember looking at it, and then even with the new one. In the old one, Maya Angelou came out of the hut, and everyone bowed down to her. Because when I talked to my Nigerian nurse, male, he said black women, African women were revered and supported, and the fact of being honored as part of the creative process of the universe. So don't forget to call in if you have any questions or statement, or if you want to put input in some way as to what Sisters in the Spirit is all about and where you think we might be going. I'd like for you to call in and ask me, what do you think about my concept? I had another idea I wanted to share with all of you too before I came into the show tonight. And the fact that as human beings, we're special. We're special that we were created in order to make this planet Earth the highest level possible in the vibrations that we can make it. And we women have that connection to the divine because God, and I'm not to talk religiously to you, but that higher power has created us so that we can birth children if we choose to. Now remember, I said if we choose to. So we're not to make any judgment on anybody if we choose to. So if we come in as a feminine, then there are choices that we can make. And being part of that creative process, some of us are more nurtured toward that. But then you also have a choice to be who you want to be. I've been wanting any of you that are LBGT and gray to come on the show, because you must understand that you're more than the flesh. You're more than just what is going on inside of you. So please, as I said, call me. My number's on the overhead, and then we can talk further. And I would love for any of you, LBGT, and they say there's another designation, gray, if you're interested in coming on the show and sharing what it is that you're going through and what it is you would like to know by personally meeting with me, talking with me, and being a part of the group. As I said to you before, call in. The hotline number is down at the bottom, 312-738 and 1060. Another thing I wanted to share with you historically from myself, to share my personal story, is that coming into this side of the world from the energy on the other side, let's say, think about the Energizer Bunny and how there's that energy that's in the Energizer Bunny that's in all of us. And you say, well, where does that come from? Without getting religious, we are more than the flesh. And that as we come in as human beings, we come as different races and ethnicities and cultures. But there's work for us to do. For many of us who have an understanding of the positive way to deal with life, we are for who we are, but we are also a universal, and including everyone else in the fact that we are all a part of that life force, as they say in Star Wars. We're all a part of that, but we manifest differently as female, as male, and even LBGT gray. I'm so glad that the universe is giving me knowledge to be able to expand on concepts that we meet out here in this world. But that gray area is someone that may not be understand what position that they hold under those letters LBGT. But as a woman who is African descendant, who is black woman, who also understands that my role is to lift up who and what I am first. This is what I was told in my meditations and my being still. And then also to be universal with other people, other females, every male. There's no problem. We all are connected. But we have a job to do to lift up. And I'm a former teacher and educator. And the tragedy things that are happening in our community with the black-on-black crime, I wanted to know, first of all, when I became aware that there were so many dropouts out of high schools here in Chicago, Illinois, what was that going on? And I was placed in an elementary school, and it was a beautiful principal we had. She was very eclectic, and she believed in providing like a sort of a social center type setting for clothes and support to the children and the parents in the community. And the issue has been that when I was there, she said, well, we're not to call any of the children bad. We're to look at them as and respect them as human beings, but also to understand that many of them come from toxic, dysfunctional families, and to use a balanced view in dealing with them. And that's what we did. She hired people like us, and many of us women, as you know, many women are in the educational system. But I give a challenge to many of you who are educated. I would pray that with your PhDs, with your master's degrees, and your bachelor's degrees, that you could be able to think outside the box and deal with creating in these children, in these young people, a sense of self-worth and value. That's something I found that a lot we're not doing. Because we get our degrees, unfortunately, we get caught up in the secular world of education here in the United States of America, the European world. And we get all these degrees, but do we lose a sense of who and what we are? Our children need to know that they are important and they are valuable. I think that's why I was placed in the elementary school, but also having a fantastic principal like I had to tell us to do love and discipline with the children. Again, this is Hotline 21. The number to call in, any question or statement, is at the bottom of the screen. My name is Cynthia Williams, founder and executive director of this organization, Sisters in the Spirit. And you can call them any question statement. I will be on every Thursday at 6 p.m. If you have any questions or statements about what Sisters in the Spirit is all about, and also the meetings that I will be holding at my in my home, as you can see here, it says Sisters in the Spirit, and that's the email address, and that's also the phone number, 312-802-4743. 312-802-4743, and you'll be contacting me. And we can talk, and you can come and sit and gather. That's a beautiful overhead. I like that overhead again, because you have a bunch of black women. You got a couple black women sitting on a couch It's a gathering, not a meeting, not a workshop, not a seminar. We need to learn how to relax with one another and learn how to be kind and respectful of one another. And I'm here as a teacher and a counselor, as an educator, to help us to understand it, and also as a senior. Yes, I'm going to share my age with all of you. Be like, wow, is she really? Yes, she is. I'm 68 years young. 68 years young. So I have lived in this world for that length of time. And I was born in Memphis, Tennessee in 1948. So I'm what they call a young baby boomer. But having born in the South, Memphis, Tennessee, I remember getting on the back of the bus with my mother. And I remember those days, and I remember during that time, this is when there was the murder of Emmett Till. And I remember as a little girl, everybody was gloomy. I remember as a little girl, my mother was crying and she was heaving. So I happened to witness that time. And I went to, as they said, a segregated school. Yes, I did while we were down there. But my father, as part of the black migration, he moved to Chicago. So black people did have a need to get away, not only from the racism of the South and lynching, the murdering and all of that, but they wanted to have better for themselves and their families. So my father moved to Chicago in the 50s, and therefore we were able to be in an environment where we could learn more and have more knowledge and not feel the pressure of the racism that is found in the South at that time. So I was able to become more politically active myself, and being a community activist, I was able to see things and make choices. So I say to all of you that our life experience is important, and as we grow and develop, I'm here to help you to understand some of the things. I don't know everything, but I know enough in my life experience to know that I can be here for you, to help you women of color, and to help the men too. I've been very fortunate. I've been able to work with guys too. And they give me a lot of respect. As I said, the gentleman that gave me that overhead, he said, "You can have that, Miss Williams." He made that for me. It's so beautiful. Let me show it one more time. I really love it. It's a beautiful overhead. Beautiful overhead. What is that? It says Sisters in the Spirit. Beautiful overhead. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? And I really believe that it represents who and what we are as women of color. I want to thank all of you who have been following me, listening in, and those of you who have been calling my home, 312-802-4743 for support and advice and any type of help that you may feel that you need or want from me. We can talk. We can talk. I can be an example. I pray for you. Again, our meetings are Sunday at 3 p.m. at my home in the Beverly area at this time. I had lived in Hyde Park, but now I'm in the Beverly area, so I've been blessed with a great big living room. So we can sit around on the couch and we can talk. And let me say this to you, not gossip, not talk about people, and not even get into what's going on now with the politics. No, it's not about that. It's selfishly focusing on who and what we are. If there's a caller, we can call in at this number here at 312-738-1060. Call in if you have any questions or statement or any curiosity about Sisters in the Spirit and about myself, because I do have my own story, as I said, and shared my age. I shared some of my history, being born in Memphis, Tennessee in the South, remembering getting on the back of the bus, and also many other things that as a child, being very, very smart, very smart. And that's one of the things our children need to understand, that they are brilliant, that they are geniuses, that they have talent, skills, and abilities. Our educational system has really went down here in Chicago, and it takes people like myself and others who can teach outside the box, not just reading, writing, and arithmetic, and the books that we teach that come from certain parts of the country, but also teach them about who and what they are and the value of who they are as African descendant people. Not, what did Harold Washington say when he was mayor of Chicago? Just because I'm pro-black doesn't mean I'm anti-white. Because I really respect the Jewish people, because they say never again, because of the horrible situation in World War II for them. But we need to recognize our history, that horrible history we went through, but also to recover from it. Because in all abuse situations, as a female, I understand. In the abuse situations, there comes a point where you have to move forward from the emotions that you feel. The hatred, the neglect, the woundedness. I'm here for you on that level also, having been there and done that. So today I feel very good about myself. I'm truly pretty blessed. I have a beautiful husband and a beautiful people that are around me. So we can achieve happy, healthy, whole lives once we start dealing with who and what we are. And that's why I'm here, to be here to help you to get there and to know that you can stand and be respected and be loved and can achieve all the things that you want to achieve in this world. Now, one thing, I was listening to the news, and they were saying that more black women have degrees. Well, that's nice. That's true. I got a degree too. But what does it really mean if you have a degree and you're not doing anything to lift up your community? To me, that's the number one thing. Lift up your community to the level where the children can know that they are valuable and they don't have to run around here in fear. So if you're an educator, come on, I challenge you. What can you teach that boy, that girl in that classroom? I know the structure. The principal is the supervisor. You got books that you're supposed to teach out of. But what can you do in order to make a change and say, well, we need to do something different for these children here in the Chicago Public Schools? It takes courage to step outside the box. We all have our bills to pay, rent, light, gas, mortgages to pay. But couldn't some of you recognize the value and worth that you have to uplift up our children? The black on black crime, I say that again. These men, I stick with them right now because of the gun violence on one level. But these men, these males, I put it like that, are killing each other and killing our children because they don't know who they are. I hear all the time about black male mentorship. But I think we as educators can do something in the schools if we really wanted to step outside the box to help these little boys and to help the little girls also to know who and what they are and value who they are. So I'm asking any of you that have any questions, any of you that may be in schools where they're charter schools and they teach Black history, to please call in. The number's at the bottom of the screen, and it helped educate me also, because I've only been in Chicago public school system. So if any of you are out there in charter schools or in schools where they are teaching Black history, where you can really see a difference and the changes in the children, please call in. The number's at the bottom of the screen, 312-738. 312-738-1060. And again, as I said, Sisters in the Spirit is a continual program. Every Thursday I will be here on the show. And what I want you to do is also call me up so that we can meet at my house, as I'm doing every Sunday at 3 o'clock. The number's on there, the email address is on there, and there are other things I can offer all of you ladies. But the strength and courage of who and what you are is most important to me. You are beautiful. You are beautiful. You are beautiful. I can't say that enough. I am beautiful. You are beautiful. And there are men that are willing to help us and support us in what we do. I want you to be clear about that. God bless all of you. And I say to each and every one of you, be strong, my sister. Keep your head up high. And call me, 312-802-4743, and meet with me. Peace and blessings to all of you.